5 years ago, a massive tornado ripped through Taylorville, forcing one family to shelter in their homemade bunker. And as I found out, that project saved their lives and helped provide the foundation for their neighborhood's rebirth. It was a dreamy early winter day.
You take everything for granted and it can be gone in a second.
It was perfect until it wasn't.
Everything was gone. People screaming, buried under their houses. It was a nightmare.
Taylorville has been waking up from that nightmare for 5 years now. On December 1st, 2018, a day that was supposed to feature the town's Christmas parade turned into a frantic race to save lives.
As soon as the storm went through, the call volume just shot through the roof.
An EF3 tornado slammed into Taylorville's southwest side, leveling just about everything in its path.
The house right there, it just went straight, disappeared. This is my neighborhood.
Everything except Randy Crowder's handmade storm shelter.
We made it to the shelter. Come out of the shelter a few minutes later, the whole neighborhood was gone.
Crowder built this shelter to occupy his mind after his wife told him she was pregnant.
The walls are 8 inches thick concrete.
6 years later, that project may have saved their lives.
You could hear it. You could hear the rumble and stuff, and you could hear it pecking on the door, and that was it.
I'll never forget the first call that came in from our dispatch. The address was next to this fireman's home, and he was actually working, so he responded to that area because it was the very first call and came across his own house that was just destroyed.
Nick Hackney was one of the firefighters on duty that night. The day after the storm, I caught up with him as he surveyed the damage to his home, just a few hundred feet from where Crowder took shelter.
I continued working for the night and knew I'd have to take care of it in the morning. We come together as a community and get things done.
And that's exactly what Taylorville did. In the days, weeks, and months following the storm, almost everyone was outside clearing debris, sawing logs, and surveying the damage to secure state funding.
It was just great seeing neighbor helping neighbor, neighborhoods helping other neighborhoods that might not have been quite as damaged.
The neighborhood has changed, but Crowder hasn't. He lifted his home back onto its original spot because even if the storm shook its foundation, he didn't let it shake his.
I've lived at this area, this house right there, for 16 years. You got something, you take care of it. It breaks, you fix it.
In Taylorville, Darren Mullen, WAND News. That EF3 tornado was a half-mile wide and packed winds of up to 155 miles per hour. It injured 22 people, but thankfully, no one was killed.